It's not often that you feel that you need a microphone for your video, but all of a sudden, I need one. A pair of scissors isn't gonna do it. My can, probably not gonna do it. How do we feel about this? Is this the vibe? Is it too distracting? I feel like it's really distracting. Nope. I can use a letter opener similar to Leone, the book Leo. It's just a letter opener. It's not a real dagger. This the best I can get? I don't really want to steal her thunder, but I might have to steal her thunder. It's fine. She doesn't know I exist. Hello. You can barely tell that I'm holding a microphone. Is this worth it? Is the bit worth it? Hello and welcome to the honorary 2023 Bookish Awards. What's up, guys? I don't think this is gonna work. I don't know. I like really want to commit to the microphone, you know? I just don't know if it's like doing it. If it's like worth it. If you're like really feeling the vibes, you know? It's not quite a microphone. Anywho, today we're here to discuss the awards. The literary awards of 2023, solely based off my own reading. I did read a lot of books, so there's like a lot to pull from. And I'm also incredibly indecisive. And I have a really hard time knowing whether or not I make good decisions, you know? Like, I'm gonna tell you hard facts today, and then I'm gonna edit this video and I'm gonna go, no, that's just incorrect. This book is better. So either way, we're gonna do this dang thing, and we're gonna see how it goes, okay? I'm gonna lose the microphone now. Anywho, let's kick this off. So, this is going to be my 2023 Bookish Awards. This is heavily inspired by G over at the Book Roast, who does something similar. Some of these questions are cherry-picked from her Bookish Awards, some are cherry-picked from the book survey, which will come out very soon after this, and some are just like things that I want to discuss, things that I want to talk about, things that I want you to know about, you know? So, I've got a lot of questions. Let's just jump right into it with, God, see? I need the microphone. The most surprising book of 2023. Our first nominees for this category night is The Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. The Serpent in the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. Yo, these are like such vastly different vibes. Different books, different vibes. So, contenders, why? Midnight is the Darkest Hour. Was most surprising in the fact that when I started this book, I was thinking one thing, and what I got was so surprisingly different. This book left me unsure how to feel. This book has left me confused, but enthralled, but also like angry. She was a lot. Midnight is the Darkest Hour, as pitched in the Literally Dead Book Club live show, as Bonnie and Clyde Twilight fanfic. We are following a small town, very religious, and we are following the pastor's daughter. And she has this friend. He is mysterious. He comes and goes out of town. He is the delinquent of town, if you will. The town thinks that he is the devil incarnate. They don't like him. He's bad. But she and him have this bond. Something traumatic happened, and they just really like had this deep friendship connection. She might think he's a vampire. They might have a weird connection. This might be a lot. We're gonna leave it at that. Yeah. Okay, and then we have on the complete opposite spectrum, we have The Serpent in the Wings of Night. This is so good, and it's one of those books where it's like, hee, I'm picking up a booktube fave. I don't know if this is gonna work for me. This was one of the first like true fantasy romances that I read this year, and just kind of kicked off a lot for me, honestly. Like, oh hi buddy. It kicked off a lot for me. It really made me discover that I might actually like this genre more than I thought. This truly kicked off like my fantasy romance era, as I think it did for a lot of people. A lot of people were really obsessed with this. This is about a human girl in this very vampire-filled world. She was raised by a vampire, but she does not like vampires, and she enters this competition. I think if you win, like, this almost godlike being gives you, like, grants a wish or something. And so she enters this competition. She's gonna, like, kick all these vampires' butts and just, like, destroy them. And I really enjoyed the competition elements. I really enjoyed the characters in this. She ends up teaming up with a couple of vampires to, you know, like, excel in the competition, like, have people to lean on for different things and, like, strengthen her weaknesses, yada yada yada. There is love. The ending was wild. It was one of those endings where I was like, I sort of saw some of this coming, but, like, also, ouch, that hurts. So this surprised me in a really good way. But this surprised me in a what the fuck kind of way. And the winner of the most surprising book of 2023 goes to Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. This truly was just, like, a time, and I still, a couple months later, don't know how to talk about it. I don't know how to recommend this. Like, I do want people to read it if it sounds good, or, like, not read it because, like, why waste your time, but, like, also, like, there's something about it that works. I hated it. I don't know. So it was surprising, and for that reason. I don't know, man. The next category is Most Disappointing Book of 2023. The nominees are SMP, so sorry, The Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, and A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. So obviously I'm not going to talk about St. Martin Press books in this. I'm not trying to review them and give them more rep and applause. They are under boycott for a lot of reasons. If you're interested in reading an author or purchasing from the publisher, go right ahead. It is no problem. It is just for reviewers to not give them our platforms basically until they right their wrongs. But these are the two that I will tell you about. Okay, so Starling House by Alex E. Harrow was good. I gave this 4 stars. So, like, it's funny to be like, this is so disappointing, but, like, I also rated it kind of high and, like, kind of enjoyed it. But I just went into this book expecting one thing and then kind of got something different, and reflecting upon it, I gave this a generous 4 stars because I really enjoyed the house element. The house was my favorite part, and we didn't get as much as I wanted. Like, I would have taken, like, this whole book of just being the house, and unfortunately that's not what happened, which is fine. That's not what they wanted. That's cool. But this is following a sister. Her name is Opal. Hey, my ring is Opal. It's also a fidget ring. I'm thriving. Anyways, we're following Opal, who is a young adult trying to just, like, get by. She has a brother in high school that she takes care of full time, and so she is just working. They live in this, like, motel sort of situation for free. It's just, like, the town knows them, and there has been this infamous house, the Starling House, where, you know, it's a little spooky, a little eerie. People don't go there, people don't talk about it, but the new owner comes to town, is starting to move in, and she just feels this pull. She's always dreamt about the house. She feels this pull towards the house, and when the new owner arrives, he offers her a job, and then we get to see the house. But there's also people trying to learn the house, purchase the house maybe. Like, there's a lot going on in this little town, and it's like Eden, Kentucky. There's people trying to use her. There's, like, a lot more going on in this book, and my issue was with the pacing. I love the house, but everything else just kind of dragged it down. The pacing was just so off that, like, I thought this book was gonna end 3 or 4 different times, and then it, like, just kept going, and I was like, where are we going with this? Like, the climax happened, and then I was like, but there's still so much book. And then, like, the 7-year jump at the very end, I don't know if all books are gonna have that, but my book had that. The audiobook didn't. Why? I don't get it. Why? Okay, and then we have A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. This is in canon to Shirley Jackson's A Haunting of Hill House. And so I went into this, like, so excited, so ready. I read these both in a reading vlog, and I was just like, yes, this is my moment to shine. I was so excited. And this one really let me down. Being in canon to Shirley Jackson, and as you'll learn later, adoring that book, this just was such a disappointment because the house did not feel the same to me. Like, I just did not get the same vibes and atmosphere from the house, and I didn't like any of these characters. I didn't care about any of their drama, and that is primarily what this book was just, like, egotistical, narcissistic, famous personnels of just like different types just coming together to work on this play. And I think like the premise is fine. It's just the characters were so awful in every way, shape, or form that I was just like bummed. So, and the winner for most disappointing of 2023 goes to A Haunting on the Hill. Honestly, it might, no, I would say like it probably goes to this. If not, it goes to the S&P book that I'm not talking about, because that one was by an author I was super excited for and just like so excited for. It was highly anticipated, and I was so bored the entire time. It was just such a letdown. But I think this one was like truly the most disappointing, because like my expectations when you say in canon to a book I love, like I'm going in hot, I'm expecting good, and it just like wasn't good. So that was a bit of a bummer. Category number 3, favorite or most beautiful cover of 2023. Now, as you can tell, I got a lot of books. Not only do I have a lot of books, but I have a lot of special editions. I have all of the boxes that I can afford as of right now, and truly, like, I could pick so many things off the shelf that I just think are beautiful. But I also thought, looking at the books that I read, and not necessarily focusing on the special editions that I got, the 2 books that really stood out to me, just like standard editions, was, and the nominees are The Honeys by Ryan LaSala and Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. The Honeys, so good. I'll have a category later, but this isn't in it, so I can honorably mention happily. The audiobook for this is incredible. If you don't like bees, maybe skip on it. But like the bees buzzing when like the horror things were gonna happen, and it's so grotesque without being too much, and it's just like so good. I adored The Honeys. I highly recommend it. It's like a summer camp horror, but it's like got weird sinister undertones of like this camp for fucking high schoolers or something. Our main character is gender queer, so you can use any pronouns when speaking about them. And I adored this. The audiobook experience was just so much fun, and it was so good. I just really enjoyed it. But the cover is what we're talking about right now, sorry. I just really like it. Like the honeys being like multiplied, which makes sense if you've like read the book and like you understand like what the honeys means, and just like the way that the words just like ooze, and then like the flowers, because like bees, oh, it's just genius, incredible. And then also I have to of course shout out the first secret project by Brandon Sanderson, because Tress of the Emerald Sea is not only a good book, it's so fun. I really adored it. I gave it to my friend for Christmas. Like, it's great, but also it's so good. Like, Brandon Sanderson gave his whole Gucci when he was like, yeah, I'm doing it. And I really applaud Dragonsteel for making good books. I hope someday to buy the beautiful editions that you can get from Dragonsteel Press, because holy cow, so pretty. The illustrations inside, so pretty. But I just love the cover. I do not like the standard traditional published cover. It's not good. But the cover, it's beautiful. And it just really tells the story, and it just really draws you in. Tress of the Emerald Sea is about Tress, who lives on this island, and she has this friend, and it's friends to lovers, but like in the sweetest of ways. And basically he is leaving the island. He's off to go get married to some royal or something of nobility. And she's just like, that really sucks. And then he kind of stops writing to her, and she goes on this adventure to find him, because there's rumors of this like witchy character living on the Emerald Sea doing a whole bunch of not good things. It's really hard to get to them. This is a seafaring story. It is so fun and beautiful. It's so quirky. Like, the narrator is not Tress, it's somebody else like narrating through the story, but in a very fun and cheeky kind of way. But like, you also get to see so much of Tress, and I just really enjoyed her and her adventure and like finding all this stuff. I don't know, I just really liked it. So the winner for most beautiful, oh, I haven't thought about this. The winner for the most beautiful cover of 2023 goes to Tress of the Emerald Sea. It's just like such a simplistic and beautiful cover. Like, it really draws me in. The color is beautiful. The design is just simplistic but like good and elegant, and like it just, oh, it's just beautiful. I just really like it. I know it's not like I can show you. This is probably one of my favorite special editions that I got in 2023. I haven't read the book. I actually DNF'd like 50 pages in. So there's a reason I'm not really counting it. But like, this is beautiful. It's so pretty. But like, Tress is just so good. It's good. Most memorable character of 2023. The first nominee is Bow Before the Elf Queen by J.M. Curl. And Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. So you probably know Fourth Wing. Right? Am I right? Everybody's heard of the book, you know? But with such hype, with such influence in community, with the types of reading that you have, the discussions you have, the absolute chokehold this had on Bookstagram, it's impossible to forget these characters. For good or for bad. Like, Violet and Xaden are characters I will remember their names probably forever. But also, like, I genuinely just remember so much about them. They're probably the characters that I know the best, even though I only read this once. I just, like, was able to really get into their heads because everybody's posting about them, everybody's talking about them, everyone's reminding me of the situation. So we've got Violet, who is a Sorengale. The fact that I know some of these names is, like, truly wild. I don't remember character names, like, ever. I'll remember the character and the story, but not the names. Anyways, Violet is, has been training to be a scribe, just like her father, her whole life. And then her father's dead, he passed away, and over time, all of a sudden, her mom is like, yeah, you're gonna be a dragon rider. Good luck, sweetie. And she embarks on becoming a dragon rider, one of the hardest and toughest sectors you can go into. There's like the scribes, the two other, and then the dragon riders, you know? Basically though, this is her just going to dragon riding school. But like, you start learning the politics. This is very central focus on like her current living situation. I think since it's going to be a 5-book series, I'm predicting, if done well, that as the books go on, we're going to see more and more of the world. But right now it's very like focused on the school and how they do things, and then you've got the influences of what's to come later. I don't know if it's a spoiler or not anymore because everybody spoils this book on social media. I don't know what makes this book good. I can't tell you what the plot really is. Like, you're just a dragon riding school. The dragons are incredible. Those are also incredibly memorable characters. I should really mention them because the dragons that she pairs with, she gets to talk to like constantly because they're in her head, and just like having that close connection and communication. He is, I don't remember his name, but however you pronounce the dragons' names, they're both very clear characters. They're very different. They have very different distinct voices. Like, I was able to know who was who pretty easily, and I think that's like good. Like, I think the dragons in this are absolutely incredible. Xaden is your very stereotypical fantasy romance interest. Romantic interest. I don't know. He is basic. But I do love him. So what can I say? Next, I have Bow Before the Elf Queen, which truly, like, I just love these characters. Layala and Thane truly just work for me, especially in like the first and second book, because they're fated mates. They're an arranged forced marriage, but also like she won't accept him just because like they're supposed to be fated mates. Like, he kind of dotes on her from the beginning, and she's very much like, you can prove your worth to me and then we'll talk. Layala was, her parents were murdered when she was a small kid, you know, typical because of the king, and she has like lived among this small town of elves her whole life, and eventually the prince comes to find her once his dad passes away. He's like, all right, time to get married, sweetheart. We gotta do this. Says like our curse, basically, like we have to get married. And she becomes queen, and it's like them working together. And the side cast characters are also just like so incredible. I just like them a lot. I think they're a lot of fun. Oh my god, and I totally forgot to mention, like, she has the like, I'm gonna kill him. like I'm gonna follow this man and I'm gonna kill him and I'm gonna be queen, basically. And I just really adore that. This is, you know, like, it's a bigger book. Audiobook is really good. I'll talk about it later, but it's just like one of those stories where like the characters' banter just really worked for me. I am trying to push so many people to read the series because I just really like it that much. So I guess we can just really quickly, and the winner of this category is Layala and Thane, because I love these characters so much. I binged the first 2 books. The second that, not only the second the third book came out, I ordered it, but I also was given the audiobook on NetGalley like 4 days before the release date, and so I just like binged it immediately and had so much fun. I just really enjoy the series. I just really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy these characters so much. Like, I'm gonna remember Layala because she's just got like the best attitude. Like, she's so fun. She takes no shit. She's a badass queen. I just really appreciate her and love her. So yeah, I'm so happy I just kind of discovered this. Thank you, Hoopla, because Hoopla, like, 1 month was like, hey, free borrows, these don't count towards your 10 or whatever. And so I just, like, picked it up, and I was like, wow, this is so good. So, thank you for that. I appreciate it. The next category is the most beautifully written book of 2023. And the nominees are Babel by R.F. Kuang, A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summer. I'm glad I remembered that. So, first we've got A Certain Hunger. Wow. Wow. I wish that I was more of a quotes girly so that I could read you something from this, because I genuinely, like, I'm not a big quote girl. I really wish I was, so annotating could be like more fun, but I just like read a book and I just like kind of watch the movie rather than like note the writing. I know it's bad, but I'll tell you the first sentence at least. They all look the same, hotel bars, even when they don't. The oak and the glass, the palms and the bottles, the lighting that casts over the singular glow, wrapping you in its warmth and pin-spotting your loneliness. Hotel bars smell like class, privilege, desperation, and hope. Wow. Wow, what a book. I know those, like, weren't, like, the best, like, revolutionary first lines, but, like, if you like food, you'll enjoy this. The descriptions of food truly are incredible. I don't like most food, and this made me want to eat everything. Like, I'm so picky, and I was like, I would never eat that, but wow, that sounds good. This is following the, think of this as like a memoir, like a bibliography, is that what they're called? Like when you like write about your life. Autobiography? One of those, anyways. We've got a serial killer in jail, and she's like, alright, time to atone for my sins, let me tell you the story of me killing some men. This is your classic, like, unhinged hot girl summer type of sad lit book, like, you know, like the type. This is the type, and I loved it. I truly loved it. So if you have recommendations of like books similar to this, I really want to read boy parts, but if you have other recommendations similar to this, please let them tell me. Anyway, following a serial killer as she is, I think, potentially on death row, if not just like in jail forever. Don't remember. Anyway, she is just walking you through her life as a food critic journalist and the men that she comes in contact with and the places she lives. God, if you love Italy, important to read this. I have always wanted to go to Italy, especially since taking Italian in college, and I am not kidding when I say, wow, does this make me really want to go to Italy. Oh my god, it's so pretty. The writing is stunning. I just truly adore this so much. It's so weird, like, reading a character and falling in love with them and, like, enjoying the story so much while also being like, I can't support you. Like, you did bad. You're bad. But I love you. You know? It's just hard. And then we have Babel by R.F. Kuang, which, again, I'm not really a quotes girly. I'm sure somebody has read you a quote at some point and was like, wow, this is really good. Let's not read the author's note. Book 1, Chapter 1. I'm not going to read non-English. By the time Professor Richard Lavelle found his way through Canton's narrow alleys to the faded address in his diary, the boy was the only one in the house left alive. Wow, that's not a great first paragraph. I'm gonna be so honest. Like, rough. But I think it's no surprise. Like, people love R.F. Kuang. People love... I'm sure you're gonna see Yellowface, because Babel was kind of like a 2022 thing. So Yellowface is gonna be everywhere this year. But I read Babel this year, and I really enjoyed it. I read this in 24 hours. Thank you so much, Allie from Hardback Hoarders, because she picked this as like the 24-hour reading sprints buddy read, and so I was reading it with her and I kept pace pretty much the entire time, and we're just able to chat about how we felt. I like this way more than she did, but I just love conversations about language and linguistics and all of that stuff. Like, it just really... it really hits me in the feels. Like, I just really want to speak every language in the entire world. I know it's not possible for me, but I just love language. I think it's so beautiful, and just like the way that she talks about it and the way that it is the magic system, I think is just so cool. All about the act of translation. But this also dives into like such heavier conversations of like colonialism and racism, and like so much is packed into this. And it's like a dense, big book. Like, I get it. This will not be for everybody. I get it. It's slow. I love these characters. I love them. Incredible. I did just really enjoy my time reading this. It's a favorite of people for a reason. There's a reason that everybody that picks it up is like either loves it or hates it. But I think you can't deny that R.F. Kuang knows how to write a book. She knows how to write, and it's incredible. And the winner is, for most beautifully written book of 2023, goes to A Certain Hunger by Chelsea Summers. It's truly just that good. Please read it. It's short, it's quick, it's good. It's formatted a little strange, but I really like it. Each chapter is based off like a different dish. Did I mention she's a cannibal? That feels important. Yeah, she also like eats the men that she kills. Sorry. That seemed important. Whew. And the next category is most proud to read said book. This one I made up. Okay. This is truly just for me to be me, because once this year, once all the stats are gone, this book probably won't be talked about very often. But I finally read all of The House of Leaves. Holy cow, I did it. I read this whole thing. Whew, has a book never felt longer. The whole, the book is bigger on the inside than it is the outside, which, matches the premise of the house being bigger on the inside than it is the outside, is so painfully true. I thought, because, you open this book up and you're like, oh my god, there's nothing on the page. That's incredible. I can get this read in no time. Nay. This book will take you a lifetime. This book took me many days. It was a book that I kept putting down even though I was interested in it and enjoying it. And then when I pick it back up, I'd be like, my brain is hurting. But I'm so proud of myself for reading this. Genuinely, I'm sure everybody's sick of hearing it. If you watch my channel regularly, I'm so sorry. I just, this is a big venture for me. There's no audiobook for this, which makes sense, but, a little rude. This is, not a dyslexic person's friend. It's very hard to read at times, but it feels like such an accomplishment to say, not only have I read this, but, I read this by myself, on my own, and I did it. I read this, and I actually, for the most part, enjoyed it. I definitely would read it again in the future differently. I think if I was to read this again anytime soon, I would just go through and read the Nobbitzen report, where you're with the family who moves into the house with, the weird anomalies. And then later, I would probably revisit Johnny's footnotes, where he's basically talking about his life. Because once I started getting, those aha moments, I was like, ooh, this is interesting. This is interesting indeed. And learning that this book was satire and, commenting on the dark academia genre and just, Johnny as a type of man. I don't think the author thinks this way. I think that Johnny was just, a type of man. But, the theories that come from this book, so fascinating, really make it worth the read. So, here's the winner. Biggest accomplishment of the year, because I'm proud. So, sorry about it. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program. The next category is the most thought-provoking or life-changing book of 2023. The nominees are A Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, Piranesi by Susanna Clark, and Bunny by Mona Awad. Oh my god, are these good books. Holy shit. Oh, what's some contenders this year. This is a battle. So let's talk about them. Bunny by Mona Awad. Holy cow. I know this doesn't work for everyone. That's okay. Hi, Samantha? I felt so much. All of these three books had the same reasoning for being on this list, and each of these, when I finished the book, required research, required people's opinions, reviews, theories. Oh my god, the theories of these books. It just makes me so fascinated in them, because people interpret them differently, have different feelings about them, and I just really enjoy that about books. So when I finish these and I could theorize and figure out what I think versus what other people think, I eat that up. That is one of my favorite things. And clearly 2023 was a good year for that. This does not normally happen, but this was the year for it. So Bunny is following Samantha, who is going to this university. It's very dark academia, prestigious, she's one of the girlies going to university, and there's this group called the Bunnies. And the Bunnies are this clique of girls, very much hive mind in their own little world, don't really care for outsiders, but eventually they start warming up to Samantha, and they're like, hey Bunny, you look really nice today. What's going on here? Ah! And they're like, oh, once you like start figuring things out, like you're getting to like the ending, and things start to click, and then the theories start to come, and then you listen to 5,000 podcasts and watch every video about it, because you're just like, what happened? What's going on? And apparently Bunny might be getting a prequel. We're still waiting on news, but if that happens, I'm so excited. Mona Awad has never hit harder than Bunny. I read Rouge, I was disappointed, I didn't really care for it, and I read All's Well, which was like right in the happy middle of both of these. So, Bunny's the one. Oh. Next, I've got Pure Nessie by Susanna Clark. Similar feelings of just like, what's going on, what's real, what's not, what is happening. I loved picturing this labyrinth that Pure Nessie is just like walking through. He's got these it's completely written in journal entries, and I just really, for whatever reason, that worked for me. Normally that's not something I like in books, but he's just navigating these tunnels, these halls, these pillars, these statues, the rooms, the strange things, like there's an ocean in the labyrinth. It's a lot. But then there's also this man, the other man, what do we call him? The other who comes on certain days and talks to Pure Nessie. There's like not, it is vibes for most of this book. Like you're just kind of there and you're just trying to figure it out. And then slowly, maybe, there's somebody else besides the other. Like somebody else might be in this labyrinth. And Pure Nessie's gonna figure it out because that's weird. And he's a danger. They're a danger. Can't trust them. God, by the way, by the time that this ends, there is a bigger plot. There's like this big mystery. This is kind of considered dark academia. I can kind of see it. But yeah, there's like this mystery and you're just like, what is going on? And you're trying to piece it together, and then you finish and you're like, gotta do the research. I gotta know more. And then last in this category, I've got A Haunting of Hill House, because holy cow. Holy cow. This is incredible. This is so good. Me loving a classic this much, I never would have thought that would happen, truly. Like, who would have thought? Who would have known? I'm so pleased, though. This is about some people going to Hill House. This professor or doctor is doing research at the Hill House, and he wants to see how it affects different people. So he brings this, like, random group of, like, 2 people, and then the nephew that like partially owns the home, like it's in his family, and then like the doctor, and they're just like living in this house for a week, just like hee girly fun things, drinking wine in the study with a cozy fire. It's so atmospheric, but like Hill House is weird. Hill House, there's something going on there. Why is it measured weird? Why are the rooms getting me lost? Why do I end up in different places? Why is it so hard to navigate? It's strange. It's weird. It's so atmospheric. I cannot tell you how atmospheric this is. But then the ending, because we're mainly following Eleanor. Eleanor? Yes. Eleanor, who, God, the theories are so heartbreaking but so good. Like, when I finished this, I instantly went into Meredith's Discord and like started talking to Emily about it, and I was like, this is what I think, and she's like, oh my god, this is what I heard, and like, this is blah 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 blah, and we were talking about the theories, and I was just like, this is so good. So if you've read this, I highly recommend like looking into people's theories, like more about Eleanor specifically and like what was going on with her, because it just made this an even better experience. Like, yes, it's a fun read, it's good, it's atmospheric, and you'll enjoy it, but like getting to know different people's reasonings for what actually like happened at the end and like why, it was just so good, and just like, heartbreaking. It's so good. And the winner is, for most thought-provoking of 2023, goes to A Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. It just has to. It just has to. I'm sorry. What else am I supposed to do? This just makes the most sense. It's so good. I just, round of applause, everybody. Incredible. Ooh, this one's fun. It's at the bottom of the stack though. Less fun. Category is Best Debut of 2023. And the nominees are Monstrelia. Oh shit. By Gabrielle. Shit. Don't know. I did it bad. by Gerardo Zamano Cordoza, and The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. Whew, these are some good books. Okay, so we've got The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. This is a thriller. She's wintry, so like if it's snowing outside and you haven't read this, why haven't you read this? First off, this is so fun and so good. The first half is like, okay, the plot. We're following this character, and she is going on this writing retreat with this like famous author who does this every so often, and she's like, this is my dream. This is all I've ever wanted. Some cancellations happen and she filled the slot. She's like so excited, but also like her ex-best friend's gonna be there, so you know there's like some drama, some tension, some weird things going on. But this first half is so incredibly gothic and haunting. You're just in this house, there's a snowstorm outside, and you're writing just constantly. Like, this is like my dream. I would love to go on a writer's retreat with like some friends or other authors and to like bounce ideas off each other, to like read each other's manuscripts and like start editing and like just like working together like that. It just seems so fun and cool. But just like working and writing your next book, like I just, revolutionary, so cool. I would love that. It sounds so fun. But then this book gets like less fun. But basically there's like 5 girls, they're all there writing their books together, they have meetings, they eat dinner. It's so gothic and like just like a little haunting. And our main character Alex is just like exploring the house. There's like some pranks going on. Like, it's just like a little weird. Like, something's clearly not right, but we're gonna just make it seem normal. Like, everything's fine. And then the second half of the book is like, oh yeah, I forgot I was reading a thriller. Like, this isn't just like an atmospheric horror. Like, there's thrills. It picks up. Oh my god, pacing. Wow. And it just like, yeah, it just goes places that you don't expect, but like also you might expect some of it. I don't know. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this. Okay, and drink break. If you have water, drink it. I know I'm not. I'll drink it later, but like, drink your water. I need energy to keep this video going. Whew. And then of course, Monstrilio. Wow. The writing in this, maybe this should have gotten like writing category. I guess it's fine. It's also because it's debut. The writing in this is stunning. This is following 4 different perspectives after the death of this kid, Santiago, and the mother, I believe, keeps a part of his lung because part of like their folklore or tradition or something of the sort. Basically, if you keep a part of the lung, maybe like they'll come back or something. Which, yeah, the lung becomes sentient. And Monstrilio is born and like not quite right. Something's like not quite right. So this is just a horror book just really talking about grief and the horrors of grief. It's sad, but I didn't like it that much. Yeah, just because like it's not my taste. I read a lot, like way too much. I read way too much grief horror this year, and it just like didn't. It's just like not my thing. It's not a topic I care too much about, and so reading this much of it, I was like, oh, too much for 1 year. It's so close together especially. But the writing is absolutely incredible. It's a little bit grotesque and a little bit much for me personally, just especially in Monstrilio's chapter. And like, I get the point, I get the commentary, I understand the purpose. It just didn't work for me, and that's completely okay. But for a debut, incredible writing, very well told story. I think like the craft of it is good, even though I don't personally like it, you know? And the winner of Best Debut of 2023 goes to Monstrilio. It truly is just that good. Like, I know I didn't like it. But if it sounds interesting to you and you read other people's reviews, like, I implore you to pick it up because I think it's deserved. Like, it was not nearly high enough rated in the Goodreads Choice Awards. Like, it deserves so much more. So I definitely recommend picking it up if you're interested in it. It just wasn't for me, you know, and that's okay. And the next category is Best World Building of 2023. And the nominees are The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty, The Scepter by Jay Bree, another SMP which I really want to talk about because, like, oh my god, the world building was like incredible, like one of the best atmospheres, and just so good. But so I read The Scepter. This is the first out of 2 prequels novellas that comes before The Crown. of Oaths and Curses by J. Bree. I'm so excited. I'm doing a buddy read with some friends in Meredith's Discord. I will leave information down below. But basically, yeah, we're gonna read The Scepter this month, The Sword next month, and then we're gonna read this one in March, and then hopefully the second book will be released in April as guest. But The Scepter was really interesting. It's like 88 pages. It's very short, very quick, easy to read. But I just really enjoyed the setup. It is kind of said that they're required to read before you jump into the first novel, so you get the character's backstory. But I just really enjoyed her character and getting to know the world in this like bite-sized kind of way. I'm excited to reread it this month, to gear up, to remember everything. I'm just really excited. I really enjoyed it though. I thought it was like, for a novella, pretty banging. And then, of course, Amina Al-Sarafi. Holy cow. Can we just talk? Like, you want to talk about beautiful editions. Like, oh, yeah. She's a stunner. Like, are you kidding? I didn't read this copy because she's too beautiful to, like, touch, but oh, she's so pretty. Anywho, The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi is following, you'd guessed it, Amina Al-Sarafi, who is a mother, retired pirate, and basically accepts this job because, you know, like, it's a little bit close to home. There's people that she knows involved, and she takes on this one last hurrah with her team to get enough money to support her and her child probably forever, but also just, you know, for the common good. And holy cow, oh, what an adventure, what a world. If you like pirates, seafaring, if you like, I don't even like know what's a spoiler, like deities, demons, all of the ghosty paranormal things, but also just like classic fantasy, like I don't know, it just like has everything. I love the cast of characters. I love her little ragtag crew getting together. I really enjoyed just being on this adventure. I really enjoyed the audiobook. It's just like a lot of fun. This world is so cool. I just, like, I'm sorry, let me show you this map again. This world is so cool. I just cannot wait to continue. This is going to be a trilogy, which unfortunately means there's going to be 2 more books that aren't out yet, and I have to wait for them, which is fine. Take your time, Shannon. But I am pretty happy that I read this and enjoyed this so much. It was just so good. I just really liked it. And the winner is, I'm sure to no surprise, The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chalkboard. Like, it just, duh. Makes sense. Like, it's just so good. It's so fun. I really enjoyed it. It's just, oh, what a time. What a time indeed. I really like this. I love this world. I've been recommending this to so many people. Like, the 3 books I would say that I've recommended the most this year: The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi, Bow Before the Elf Queen, and another book that I'll talk about. I guess I'll just shout it out. I've been making everybody read The Last Tale of a Flower Bride. That's just so many people. I'm like, yeah, you should read this. You should totally check it out. It's just who I am right now. I have few personalities. And the next category is the book that made you almost cry in 2023. And the nominees are Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour and The Traveling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arikawa. Okay, so this has like a clear winner, and if you watch my channel you probably know because I've discussed it a couple of times, but I guess really quickly let's talk about Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. Wow, this book is beautiful. Like, are you kidding me? The fuck? Thank you so much, Ashley, for sending this to me, because so nice. I really enjoyed this. This, you know, funny enough, I know I said I don't really care for books about grief, but oh boy is this a lot of that. I really enjoyed this. What a beautiful tiny little book. It's told, like, when I say like it's a tiny book, like not only is it tiny, but like you've got like pages with like the chapter title, and then there's like these moments, like you get the chapter and then it's like flashbacks to her experience and kind of what led her to be here, and then the chapter, like, it's incredible. Sorry, it's so good. In this, we are following our main character, Mila. And Mila is an orphan. She has been living, like, kind of fostered at this house, and is time to move on. She's graduated high school. The family that took care of her for a time. They're ready to have their own family. She's pregnant. So she gets this opportunity to go work, I suppose, volunteer maybe, at this, I don't want to call it like an orphanage, but I guess a different type of foster home. And you get to see her move in and get to know this kid that she's going to be teaching. She's teaching this kid basically, and he's kind of going through a lot, and it's just like this beautiful found family. It spans over like quite a while, even though you wouldn't think so, and it's just like her finding her place in the world. It is her coming to terms with her past, and it's just really beautiful. Like, this book just makes me want to hug it. It was really good. I really do recommend it. It's so pretty. There's ghosts. Like, it's great. And then, spoiler alert, the clear winner, The Traveling Cat Chronicles. Holy fuck. Oh god. I have never in my entire life cried so hard at a book. Genuinely, like, finished, like, I I read this fully with my eyes. I got this from the library. I need to get a copy ASAP, because I finished reading it. Whilst I was reading the last few chapters, I started crying. And then by the time I finished it, I'm full ugly crying. Like, tears, ugly, face hurts, eyes puffy, like, crying. I sobbed so hard at this book. In this, we were basically just following this man who is trying to find a new home for his cat because he can no longer take care of him. And you get the cat's perspective as they're going from house to house on this beautiful journey through Japan, and just like driving around, and you're getting why this cat doesn't know what's going on. Cat doesn't understand why we're going to all these places and like why he needs to find somewhere new. And you're meeting his friends along the way, and just like seeing like connections of human, and it hurts. It hurts so bad, but it's so good and it's so beautiful, and I just I don't want to talk about it anymore. Anyways, that's the winner. I don't even want to, like, obvious winner. Because holy cow. Just right in the heart. And the next category is Best Plot Twist of 2023. And the nominees are The Only One Left by Riley Sager and The Spite House by Johnny Compton. This is a hard category for me this year. Like, I probably read more, I for sure did. I read way more horror than I did thrillers this year. And so I don't have a lot of like twists that really I remember, which is unfortunate. I feel like there's one that I for sure read and just like don't remember. Like, there's like that feeling of me that's like, you're forgetting a clear, obvious plot twist that just like gagged you. And it's driving me crazy. But these are the two that I've got for you today. So The Spite House by Johnny Compton is a debut. He is nothing. This book is about this dad and his two daughters basically moving into the Spite House because they're, you know, running from their past, getting away from things. We don't really know why, but they are basically getting paid to live in the Spite House to find paranormal happenings, to find proof and evidence that the house is haunted. And I just think it's a really fun setup. I think it's pretty clever and fun. But the twist is not about the house, but the twist is about the family, and I didn't see it coming. I was quite surprised and taken back, and I thought that it was very interesting and not what I expected, and I think, like, bravo for that. I think I gave this 4 stars. It's not the most memorable book, but I also read this in, like, February or something for the Literally Dead Book Club, so it's been a while. And the other one we've got The Only One Left by Riley Sager. This is the safest Riley Sager I've read thus far, but like, also, what the fuck? Like, what? This had so many like twist after twist after twist after twist. Half of them you expected, half of them were just so out of pocket to be like, haha, you didn't guess this one. A lot of people really seem to love this one over his other ones. This was like the Riley Sager is back kind of book for people, which I don't know if I fully agree with, but this is inspired by the Lizzie Borden, but like, Lizzie Borden exists in this universe, and that's like my biggest gripe. Like, why be so closely tied to Lizzie Borden if, like, whatever. Anyways, in this we are following this girl who works at, like, I don't know, like, she, like, assisted living, like, she goes to people's houses to help take care of them, and she had an incident at her last job, and so she's kind of, like, being punished by being sent to, I don't know, does this house have a name? Yeah, Lenora, I don't think the house has a name. If it does, I'm not seeing it pop out, and I'm not gonna worry about it. Oh, is it Hope's End? Yes, Hope's End, wow, good on me, right at the last second. But anyway, she goes to Hope's End to take care of this woman, Lenora, who is known for killing her whole family. Like, parents, sister, all of them dead. She tried to off herself as well, but it was a failed attempt. And so they didn't really, like, charge her because they didn't really want to take care of her because, like, she's, like, almost paralyzed. Like, she can't do a whole lot. But her and Kit kind of form this bond, kind of get to know each other. Oh, didn't kill the sister. Did kill the sister? No, I think the sister's, like, the head of house. But I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, basically, like, you're uncovering what happened with this massacre and, like, getting to know, like, the spooky house. Also, the house is, like, set on a cliff, and the cliff is also not stable, if you will. So that's, like, a fun little atmosphere. And there's also, like, this man that, like, works there as, like, the groundskeeper or something, but, like, low-key romance kind of thing. I don't know. Anywho. And the winner for Best Plot Twist of 2023 goes to The Spite House? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, they're kind of, like, on par with each other. Again, I'm sure there's something that I'm missing. Like, I think there's a book that I was like, oh, duh, dummy. If I remember it. Here you go. Ooh, this is so fun. Okay, now we're getting into, like, the stuff. This video will slowly start to pick up pace. I'm so sorry. I know this took a while. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Anywho, the worst books of 2023. If you've seen my last video, or a couple of last videos ago, I did my worst books of 2023. I did a bracket, ranking them against each other. It became pretty obvious and clear which was the worst as I went on, but I will tell you some of the contenders. Wayward by Amelia Hart. It just really didn't work for me. This is like worst historical, worst witchy, worst magical realism, worst literary, I don't know, however you want to classify it. I just like really did not enjoy this one. I also got worst fantasy being Daughter of No Worlds because ugh, this one gave me the ick. If you want all my thoughts and vibes, thoughts and reasonings, you can watch my worst books of the year video. And to take the cake, Hunting on the Hill, because wow, this was just so bad. Like I know some people enjoyed this, so don't steer me. If you really want to read this, please, I implore you, read a book that sounds good to you, no matter what other people say. If you don't like it, we can talk some shit together. But it really just didn't work for me. I hated these characters. They were just awful to be with. So annoying. The audiobook was like not, like, the audiobook was trying to be good in the sense that like it had sound effects. And like when the girlfriend starts singing, you can hear the singing and humming in the background. But the sound effects were so distracting that it was really hard to like pay attention to the book, even though I was like tandem reading. If I wasn't physically reading along, I would have missed things because the sound effects were just like too much over the speaking parts. Like it just didn't always work. But at first it was fun and quirky and like it was good. And then like it kept going and I was like, I don't know what you're saying. So that part was annoying. I just hated these characters so much and I really wanted to see more of the house, and the things that were in the house did not make sense. Like it was more fantastical than I was expecting, and there was no explanations. All of these characters could have died at the end and I would have been like, yeah, that's a good book. But that doesn't happen, so spoiler alert. And then we've got the best books of 2023. I'm going to break this down by genre a little bit just so that we can, you know, talk about some more books that I love. I also did an entire bracket tier rank. I mentioned all of my honorable mentions as well as like all of my 5 stars that I think were worthy, and put them on my bracket and tier ranked not tier ranked, I put them on the bracket and I battled them to see my best of the best, which I think I stand by. I do think that I agree with this decision for the most part. And the overall winner for 2023 came out to The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshni Chokski. This is so good! Also, like, not only so good, this is the Fairy Loot edition. I also have the Owl Crate edition. I don't know where about it though, and I'm not gonna worry about it. But we've got our two best friends. Basically though, this is following, God, sorry, I have to show you. Like, this is just so incredible. But in this, we are following our lead character, and she's bringing her husband to her house because, like, her grandma is dying, or like her caretaker, I think grandma, is dying, maybe mother, it doesn't matter. People important to her are on their deathbed basically, so she goes back to this house. And when I tell you, I love a house as the main character, so good. And as she brings her husband there, she's just like don't talk to anybody, just, we're here for a little bit, it's business, don't worry about it. And, you know, he's a stand-up guy. I love their romance. I'm sorry, that this is romance to me. Similar to how Kayla felt about Midnight is the Darkest Hour, like, that's them for me. Like, I really liked their romance. It was just, like, weird, but, like, good. Anyway, he, you know, as one does, snoops a little bit, talks a little bit, maybe starts to uncover some things, some little, like, weird things. And as we're seeing him learn things, we are also seeing the point of view of the past, like the previous timeline of these two best friends being best girlfriends. And this is very much an exploration of toxic female friendships. But there's just, like, this whimsical, magical feeling to it where, like, they've got these rules and they believe so intensely in basically fae. Like, they've got, like, a strong imagination system. Like, they really believe everything that they're doing, and just the way that they're raised and the way they act together. It's just so beautiful. And the last line of this book, I know I talk about it all the time because this is why people want to read it. It's because I just only talk about the last line. But, like, because I loved the entire story, like, as I was reading it, I was enjoying the entire moment, and then, like, by the very end, like, the last line, I was just like, ah! Oh my god, it just hit me so much harder. And it's not like some revolutionary line, like, it's nothing so bizarre and crazy like I might be making it out to be, but it just, like, really worked for me. So yeah, I just loved it. Oh boy, this is gonna be such a long video, I'm so sorry. Okay, let's speed this up. For thriller, oh no. My best thriller, I think, goes to The Writing Retreat. I just really enjoyed this. It was so much fun, it was so atmospheric. I love the writing. For, like, a debut, this was just incredible. It just came to me, I think, at the right time. It was just a good time. I just really enjoyed this. It was so much fun. Ta-da. Okay, horror, I have two. The first one being Wilder Girls by Rory Power, because holy cow, I love this. This is body horror, but it's never, like, so scary, spooky, like, you know, like splatterpunk horror. It's nothing like that, but it's disfigurement. And this boarding school of girls on this island when this, like, plague hits them, basically, and they're, like, surviving. They're fending for their lives. But they're also, like, weird medical things going on. And just, like, reading the inspiration for this at the end, I thought was just so interesting and fascinating. And it just, like, was a good exploration of people. It gives you hope, but it's also just, like, sad and horrific. And it's just like, wow, everything about this was so good. The other horror that I need to mention is This Is Where We Talk Things Out by Caitlin something. And this is, like, a novella. It's very short, but, like, oh my god. Oh my god. Wow. I wanted, like, this is, like, horror. Like, this is, like, young adult, kind of like a fantasy, just because, like, I don't know, plagues. I don't know. Could be realistic. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Anywho, young adult horror. Whereas This Is Where We Talk Things Out is a little bit more mature, a little bit more, like, uncomfortable. I want to crawl out of my skin. It is mother-daughter relationships. It is toxic relationship. It is so good, but I hate it. It just, like, it was just everything that I needed it to be. And it's short, and I just really enjoyed it. It's definitely something that I would read again. The ending makes me feel like there's something there, and I just need to know what happens I just need to know. Like, is there a sequel? I need to know. For romance, I am going to say that Red, White, and Royal Blue was my favorite romance of this year. I don't read a lot of romance, but this one just had me in a chokehold. I read it because the movie was coming out, and I just enjoyed it so much. The exploration of finding your identity and feeling accepted and finding love that you weren't expecting otherwise. These two characters just really meant a lot to me. I loved the side characters. They were like so important to the story and to me. Everything about this just like really worked. I was just like cheesing, kicking my feet the whole time. The letters, we should make history! Incredible. Okay, and then we've got Romantasy. And I'm gonna be honest, it's the Elf Queen series by J.M. Curl, because 4 stars, 5 stars, 4.5 stars, audiobooks, just, again, so good. We'll talk about it. So good. I guess I should have probably talked about audiobooks before the best of everything. My bad. Anyway, so good. I just really love these characters. I love this world. This third book is gonna be, like, I'm warning you now. I recommended these first 2 books full-heartedly, full chest, read them. But this third one, I don't know how the mass majority will feel about this one. It will either go really well or really bad. I like to compare this to a very Vampire Diaries type of feel, which just really worked for me. I know. Worked for me. I really enjoyed it. So, sorry about it. Not sorry. But yeah, I highly recommend the series. It's a lot of fun. It's like just everything that I wanted and needed it to be. I can't wait for the 4th book and final book to come out. She said that she's probably going to do some like spin-offs in the same world, which is really exciting for me. I need to read her backlist. I'm going to reread the series next year probably. I'm just so excited. Everything's probably this year. Oh my god, because the 4th book will probably be out like this fall. Okay, and then literary best book would definitely go to A Certain Hunger. This is just incredible, as I've stated. So best literary I read. Oh, and best nonfiction. I would say between, no, obvious winner. Best nonfiction is a silly, goofy one maybe for some of you, but How to Keep House While Drowning is just so useful and good, and it's a book that I will probably listen to like 4 times this year. Like probably every, I'm out of breath. Every quarter I will probably listen to the audiobook and just like ground myself and get ready for a new season so that I can, you know, change things and keep things clean and tidy as my life is chaotic and my brain is a mess. So yes, that is my best nonfiction, and I think it'll be one that I just utilize often. Okay, best audiobook experience. I have 3 nominees. We've got Bow Before the Elf Queen, Stolen Tongues by Felix something, and The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. But I'm gonna say the winner is Fate Calls the Elf Queen. Well, this is the 3rd book. Anything in the Elf Queen series, because there's 2 narrators. I know I talk about this a lot, but there's 2 narrators for Lyanna and for Thane, and the way that in Lyanna's chapters, Thane still is the voice for himself, like interjects in her chapters, is just so incredibly done, and I wish that happened more often, because wow, some boys are, some people, I wouldn't even say the men, because some women are bad at it too, but some people can't voice other genders, and it's not good for the experience. But when you do it like this, I'm sure like the production is harder and like the costs go up, but like it's so worth it, and it just gives me such a better experience. I really enjoy it. A Certain Hunger has a great audiobook. The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi is really fun because she is narrating the book as if she's telling you the story of her life and this like adventure, while also turning away from the camera to talk to the person producing the audiobook, and you can hear like the muffled sounds. Stolen Tongues I put on as a nominee because it's just scary. Like the way that he narrates, he gives it his all. It's like a true performance, and it is eerie and scary, and I hated it, but I also loved it, so that's why. I had a good audiobook experience this year. I'm gonna continue the rest of this awards show sitting down because I'm out of breath. I'm talking so long. This is gonna be a way longer video than I intended it to be, so hopefully I can cut it down and post. Anyways, so let's talk more about the booktube YouTube side of things. So the first category is the video I am most proud of. Honestly, I know I'm talking about it a lot. I really am so proud. I would say that it is my Literally Dead book club series. It's a 3-part series. The first part, reading the backlist books that I missed before, the books that were picked before I, the books that I picked before I officially like joined the book club in 2021. So I went back and read those books and any other books that I had missed in that video, which took me like a year. It was a lot of books, it was a lot of time. And then the second part is reading the entirety of House of Leaves, because I had more to say and there was just like a lot more going on with that, which I think makes sense. The first video would have been way too long if I didn't do that. And then I've got the third part, which is tier ranking every book thus far that we've read for the book club. And I just was really proud of myself for sticking to a video that long and really just like doing something really more so for me. Like, it didn't do the best in views, not a lot of people are really engaged in it, but I really put my all. I really channeled like Kayla's style when it came to like the cards and everything, and I was just like really proud of it. I put more editing power into that than I normally do. So yeah, I'm really proud. I'm happy that I did it. One of the questions is a video I'll continue doing next year is going to be the book club backlist reading vlogs. I'm going to typically stick with like 3 books. Hi, don't eat my necklace. I'll typically stick with 3 books per book club, so I'm working on 2 that'll come out probably in February and March, and then I'll just continue picking book clubs and picking 3 off of their backlist, and maybe potentially participating in that month's, if I can get my hands on it and if it's like interesting, you know? But I just think that it's a fun way to explore the side of community. My favorite book clubs, or like the book clubs I participated the most in, I should say, in 2023 were obviously the Literally Dead book club, because I read all 10, and the other one was the Lights Out book club hosted by Riveting Reads, or Sav. I also really like her. She does horror and it's a good time. It's fun. I participate in as many book clubs as I possibly can. January, I've got a lot of buddy reads happening, but I'm also going to be reading for the Library Dwellers book club, Big Bad Bitch Big Booty book club, I think, the 4B's book club. We're reading Mayfly, and I might be co-hosting that one, so I'm really excited to read that book finally, but also to be like reading it with friends and like hearing their thoughts. It's gonna be really cool. I'm also reading Red Rising for a read along, and then again like a bunch of buddy reads, and I'm just like I love the community for that reason. It's so good, it's so fun. So yes. And then I guess on the flip side, video I will never do again. So I did the first and last, similar to Dylan is in Trouble, a movie commentary on YouTube channel, and he does watching the very first episode of a series and then watching the very last episode and kind of speculating like what happens in between and just like talking about all of his ideas and so on and so forth. And I did that. I did it with the Inheritance Game because book 1 came out. It was supposed to be a duology. The second book, I hadn't heard a lot of good things. It felt like a filler that wasn't necessary for a lot of people. So I skipped it, and then I read the last book. And truly, I got the full book. I understood everything that happened. I don't feel like I missed out on a lot from not reading the second book. I don't feel like it was super crucial to the story, and it worked out. I had a good time, performed horribly. It's maybe like one of my more bad videos of the year, like just didn't, like views wise, not a lot of people watched it. I don't know if it's just because a lot of people don't want spoilers for the book, or I don't know. Didn't work out, which is fine. But lesson learned, I won't be doing more first and last for book series because I guess people don't enjoy it. But when it comes to TV shows, it's really interesting and good. Anyway, the next category I've got on here is favorite video to make, or like the most fun video, and I got 2. Vlogs in general is number 1. Any reading vlog or weekly vlog I genuinely have the most fun doing. I think that themed vlogs and reading vlogs are just so entertaining. I love watching them. I love doing them. I love just like talking with you guys and like telling you guys about what's going on and just like showing you part of my life. But it's also like a time capsule, and it helps me remember things. Like if I read a book and I don't talk about it, I'm more likely to forget it. But if I tell you guys my review and think about it and like talk about it. I do remember it a lot better, and I can tell you things that happened like 3 years ago in a book. So I just really enjoy them. But out of all of my reading vlogs, I think the most fun was my Shrek Smut reading vlog, where I read both books in the Get in My Swamp, Stay in My Swamp series, I guess, on Kindle Unlimited. Fun books. It was a hoot of a time. I read the first book on live with my friends, and it was just so much fun. I really enjoyed just like that experience of reading with friends and hanging out and just being able to discuss and talk about like what was going on, especially because a lot of them did not continue with the second book, but I did. And so I was just like texting them and messaging them like what was going on. It was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. In the video, it's very long because I'm reading 2 books, but I also recorded all of my reactions because I am not a smut reader typically. I'm not typically that type of reader, that girly. I do enjoy smut. I do read it, but it will make me cringe and uncomfortable often, and so it was just a lot of fun recording my like actual live reactions to it of just like, oh my god, of a book. It was just a lot of fun. I put there was 5 hours of footage for that video. It was a lot of fun though. And then I believe the last one for my like little video question is the video that surprised me the most. I had a hard time with this one. One, I might say I did a like conversational hot topic type of video, which is not normal for my channel because I get really scared doing that kind of stuff. But I posted a video talking about the book community on YouTube and Bookstagram, talking about overhyped books and what that means, and basically like hating on other people's preferences and just like that big conversation of like why we do it and so on and so forth. And the comments are incredible. The engagement, the thought-provoking conversations that I was able to have with people because of that video really like is one of my favorite things. I guess I should mention that as like most proud and like also like surprised, because I was terrified. I did not make it about anybody in particular, but I just noticed it was a lot about like the Fourth Wing hype, but a lot of books like ACOTAR fall under that category. And I just really was like coming to terms with like that conversation and like why people feel that way and just kind of talking about it. And I didn't expect so much good feedback and just like the incredible conversations. Everybody was so polite and respectful and had such good points and takes, and I really, really appreciated that video. Another one that I mentioned just because I couldn't think of something until just now was my scavenger hunt for my 150th book. Wow, was that hard. It wasn't like a surprise like, ooh, revolutionary. It's just like, Kayla, that was so hard. The whole like, the last thing in the scavenger hunt is like flipping through a book and pointing at words and finding the words in the title on your TBR. I struggled so much. It's insane how many words I had to cut out just like condense the video. It was ridiculous. That was so hard. I loved it. I'll probably do something similar next year. Anywho, so those were my video kind of questions. The last little category are 2 questions. My favorite readathon that I participated in. Obviously, it had to be Aurelium because I just truly love and adore that one, but I also really enjoyed 2 new ones this year. I guess I should mention Pokemon, which is mostly a 2024 readathon, but it did start December. I'm a co-host, helping Meredith with it. It's been a lot of fun. We all drew some cute little Pokemons that you can go out and find by reading some books and doing some life prompts. And it's just like, it's beautiful. Everything about it is incredible. But 2 that I participated in that made me read like crazy would be Escape the Readathon, hosted by Books with Lexi. Incredible channel. She primarily reads thriller and horror. She is co-host of the Pyramid Book Club. And Escape the Readathon happened in, I want to say, May. And we all got put on teams, and you're escaping a haunted house. You go into these rooms, you read the prompts, you don't know which prompt is the correct prompt, but you have to read for them, and that way you can unlock the door. My team did win. I'm just going to tell you right now, I am superior for that, and it was just a lot of fun. The other one that I started super strong on didn't quite end as strong just because I was getting overwhelmed and like life happens, but the Amazing Race Readathon, or Amazing Readathon, inspired by words, inspired by The Amazing Grace, hosted by Bree over at 4 Paws and Books. so much fun, so creative. The community was great. I've learned so much about participating in these readathons when I'm working on my own, which hopefully will be launching in September. But it's just one of those things like, wow, so much goes into a readathon. And hers was, you can go to a destination, you can travel 3 different ways, you can read the prompt to get the, like, considered, like, traveled there, and then, like, you can read bonus books, so on and so forth. My team did really well. I truly don't remember who won anymore. We might have won. I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't keep up. But those 2 were a lot of fun and just, like, very unique and different. Same with Pokemon. And then the next and final question for this super long video is favorite favorite booktuber you discovered this year. So many. Genuinely, I follow well over 1,000 booktubers on my channel. Like, I subscribe to everybody, even though it is physically impossible to watch everybody. I want to be like the biggest #1 supporter of everyone. There's just not enough time in the day. But know that I am sending my love to everybody on booktube because it takes a lot of work to do this, and I'm just proud of everybody. But I'm gonna say 4 channels that I discovered and really enjoy. So, D over at tFretReadBooks. I just really enjoy his commentary. I really enjoy the way he talks about books and, like, reports on them. That's not right. I just really enjoy the way that he discusses books and topics, and I just have a lot of fun on his channel. So I'd highly recommend him. I think he started in, like, the middle of 2023. Don't quote me. I also have Leandra, the TBR0 on this list. I don't personally, like, know her super well. I've popped into a couple of her sprints. She sprints often. She is hosting the tbrathon this month. If you're interested, I'd recommend go checking her out. But she's just so sweet and so nice, and I love her content so much. And she just recently did her physical TBR, and oh my gosh, the work that she put into that is just, it's so impressive. I'm so proud. I just really like her content. She's just incredible, and I really have been enjoying her stuff. Next, I have the channel XO Joe. I love her. I love her so much. She's so incredible. We haven't talked a whole bunch, but when we do talk, she's a fangirl and have such a good time. I really enjoy her content. I really enjoy her as a person. I love making friends. I don't know if you can tell. I love making friends. There's just something super special about it. But I've just been having a lot of fun. We talk about a lot of things. I recommend her books. We talk about books that we read together. We also just, like, talk about content creating and life and just, like, the struggles that we have. And it's so nice having people going through similar experiences that you can just talk to and kind of just, like, remind you that you're not alone. And even though this feels like a very solo activity, just being alone on YouTube and content creating and reading, there's such a big community to, like, be a part of. It's so cool. Anywho, and the last channel that I discovered and want to talk about is Aaliyah over at The Library Dweller, because holy cow, I love her channel. Go watch her vlogs. They're actually so good. She's just, I adore her. I adore her so much. You know, the internet's a funny thing, because through mutuals, I knew of her channel, and Allie over at Allie Do Is Read was on her channel sprinting one day, and I just kind of, like, popped in to the comments for the first time, and I just chatted with them the whole time. Like, I was just in the comments having such a fun time talking with them, and then I was invited to sprint with her on her channel, and we primarily spent the time talking. There was very little reading done. We just got to know each other, and it was beautiful and so much fun, and I love sprinting with my friends. It's incredible. So I highly recommend you go check out her content, because it's incredible content. She has a book club I'm so excited to participate in. She reads all types of things, which I also love. We love variety readers. Anyways, yeah, those are some of my favorite channels of this year. Again, I follow so many. I love and adore so many. It's very hard to pick, but these are ones that I have been continuously, like, watching and going back to. But again, it's never ending. There are so many that I just love and adore, and I can't name them all, which hurts my heart. But I do love everybody on BookTube, and it's a beautiful community. I'm so proud to be a part of it, and I'm rooting for all of us. 2024, it's gonna be our year. I just know it. Anywho, I'm gonna go. I've been talking way too long. I'm so sorry. I did not mean for this to happen. But this was a lot of fun to make, so I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too long. Wish me luck editing. I hope to see you guys all in my next video. We're going to do the book survey tag, which hopefully will go shorter than this. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye!